Welcome back to World History Explored, where we delve into the captivating tales of our planet's past. We're thrilled to have you with us today as we embark on a journey through the rich and complex history of Hungary. Before we delve into the chronological events, let's explore the etymology of the name Hungary. The name is derived from medieval Latin Hungaria, which itself originates from the medieval Greek ungroa. This fascinating linguistic journey from onagur to Hungary provides a small yet enticing glimpse into the deeply intertwined threads of culture, migration, and conquest that have shaped the nation. Early history. Prior to Roman influence, various tribes and cultures, such as the Homo heidelbergensis and eventually the modern Homo sapiens, left their mark on the land historically known as Pannonia. From the advent of the Starcevo-Koroskris and Vucedol cultures in the Neolithic and Bronze Age, respectively, to the Iron Age, which saw the impact of the Thraco-Cimmerian artifacts, each period planted seeds for the cultural and social evolution of the region. The Celts, Dacians, Scordisci, and others vied for dominance, their interactions and conflicts providing a chaotic yet vibrant backdrop to the region's history. Upon the Roman arrival, Pannonia, comprising parts of modern-day Hungary, was gradually enveloped into the vast empire, with Latin and Greek influences permeating local cultures. After periods of prosperity under Roman rule, coupled with challenges from various barbaric incursions and societal shifts, the might of the Roman Empire waned, paving the way for successive rulership by various nomadic tribes including the Huns, Lombards, and Avars. The entwined histories of these transient empires and resident tribes underlie the complexities of power, resistance, and cultural synthesis that would continually shape the future of Hungary and its neighboring regions through the migration period and into the medieval era. It sets the stage for a fascinating exploration of how Hungary, navigating through the ebb and flow of external invasions and internal strife, would eventually forge its unique identity amidst the multifaceted socio-political landscape of Europe. Medieval Hungary. The genesis of the Hungarian state traces its roots back to the robust Hungarian conquerors originating from the Pontic steppes. United under the astute leadership of Grand Prince Almos and subsequently his son Arpad, a confederation of 7 tribes embarked on a meticulously orchestrated migration, culminating in the occupation of the Carpathian Basin between 862–895. The Arpad dynasty, with a bold claim of descent from the formidable Hun leader Attila, not only sculpted the Hungarian ruling dynasty but also meticulously molded the Hungarian state into a formidable entity. The conquest, initiated in 894, unfolded with strategic military engagements against the Bulgarians and Moravians, propelled by alliances and solicitations from notable entities like Arnulf, the Frankish king, and Leo VI, the Byzantine emperor. Amidst the conquest, the Hungarians, armed with proficient military acumen, orchestrated rapid territorial expansions and even forged paths to the terrains of modern-day Spain, demonstrating their fearsome and expansive military capabilities. Geza, bypassing conventional practices of the era, designated his son Vaik, later known as King Stephen I, as his successor, thereby firmly establishing a durable dynastic lineage. This era also bore witness to internal strife, notably against Koppany, who championed the ancient tribal traditions and pagan beliefs. However, the rebellion was squelched, solidifying Stephen's ascension and ushering in a new era where Hungary was recognized as an apostolic kingdom under his leadership. King Stephen I notably shifted the religious and linguistic landscape of Hungary, replacing runic script with the Latin alphabet and implementing Latin as the official language, a status it retained until 1844. Administrative innovations were also instituted, embracing the Frankish model, which witnessed the land subdivided into counties, each governed by an ispan, akin to a count, representing royal authority, and subsequently a foispan, as regional structures developed. However, Hungary's metamorphosis did not halt with administrative restructuring. The 11th century Hungary transformed further under King St. Ladislaus, whose potent leadership and charismatic influence played a pivotal role in consolidating Hungarian state power and reinforcing Christianity. His strategic interventions in regional conflicts, such as in Croatia in 1091 at the behest of his sister Helen, the queen consort of Croatian king Demetrius Zvonimir, brought about new political alliances, exemplified by the personal union between the kingdoms of Croatia and Hungary in 1102. As the 13th century dawned, Hungary, under King Andrew II, witnessed not only territorial and military ventures, such as the Fifth Crusade to the Holy Land in 1217, but also the issuance of the Diploma Andrianum in 1224, which fortified the privileges of the Transylvanian Saxons. The Golden Bull of 1222, Hungary's counterpart to England's Magna Carta, was also instituted under Andrew II, articulating dual purposes of reinforcing the rights of smaller nobles and safeguarding national rights against royal impositions. The Mongol invasion of Europe in the 13th century undoubtedly cast a devastating shadow upon Hungary, inflicting substantial demographical and structural damage. However, the destructive aftermath propelled significant strategical changes, including the strategic construction of stone castles under King Bela IV to safeguard against future invasions. Additionally, the influx of Cumans and Jassic people fleeing from the Mongols brought about new socio-demographic dynamics, eventually being absorbed and assimilated into the Hungarian population. Late medieval period, 1301-1526. The intricate canvas of Hungary's history unfurls a compelling narrative which, following the potent era of the Arpad dynasty, transmuted from authoritative kingdoms to a veritable play of power, succession, and downfall. After an interregnum fraught with destruction from 1301 to 1308, Charles I, denominated Charles the Great of the Angevin lineage, ascended as the first Angevin king. His reign, extending from 1308 to 1342, was marked not merely by the restoration of royal power, but also by subduing oligarchic challengers, the Little Kings. Charles, albeit indirectly, was an Arpad descendant through a female lineage and bore the mantle of leadership with notable fiscal, customs, and monetary reorganizations that bore fruit for the Hungarian state. The financial affluence was notably manifested from the lucrative gold mines of eastern and northern Hungary, leading to a significant generation of wealth that enhanced the king's power. This fiscal strength, combined with diplomatic alliances with entities like the Polish King Casimir the Great and the infusion of Renaissance ideals into Hungary, marked a period of considerable advancement and prosperity. The succeeding king, Louis the Great, 1342 to 1382, expanded Hungary's domain to the Adriatic Sea, oscillating his rule over the Kingdom of Naples while also navigating internal legal reforms and external military campaigns, including those against Venice. His diplomatic finesse and successful military campaigns against entities like the Ottomans forged a legacy of power and influence in both Hungary and Poland. The introduction of the law of entail in 1351 further enhanced the stability of noble lands and families, offering a degree of internal stability amidst the external conquests. However, the death of King Louis, with no male heir to assume the throne, triggered a subsequent period of civil discord. The future Holy Roman Emperor Sigismund, 1387 to 1437, finally stabilized the throne through marriage to Louis's daughter, Mary of Hungary. The absence of a direct heir following the death of Sigismund invited Albert II of Germany to the throne, who ruled until his death in 1439 amidst an anti-feudal and anti-clerical peasant revolt in Transylvania in 1437. The gap in stable leadership facilitated the emergence of John Hunyadi, a mercenary commander-turned-governor and later regent, who distinguished himself through crusades against the Ottoman Turks. His victories, such as at the Siege of Belgrade in 1456, echoed Hunyadi's adept military leadership, placing him amongst the most influential figures in Hungary's political and military narrative. The ascension of Ladislaus II of Bohemia, 1490-1516, renowned for his weak leadership, underscored a period of fiscal crisis, degradation of national defenses, and internal rebellion as exemplified by the 1514 peasant revolt led by György Dosa. Consequently, Hungary's descent into a state of weakened military defenses and internal discord created a conducive environment for the expansionist Ottoman Empire. The fall of the fortress at Nándorfehérvár in 1521, followed by the catastrophic defeat at the Battle of Mohács in 1526, where the young King Louis II perished, marked a poignant transition from a kingdom grappling with internal stability to one whose very existence was imperiled by external forces. In retrospect, Hungary's historical voyage from the conquest-driven Arpad dynasty to the zenith and subsequent decline of its statehood offers a reflective glimpse into the complexities of power, succession, governance, and the indomitable impact of external threats amidst internal fragility. This period, from the post-Arpad to the Ottoman confrontation, demarcates a pivotal chapter in European history, blending tales of power, rebellion, and decay within the Hungarian state. The early modern period. The 16th century observed the Ottoman Turks exerting their formidable influence across the Kingdom of Hungary, subsequently leading to a complex and politically fragmented era. Following their first decisive victory, the Ottomans expanded their dominion until 1556, engulfing a substantial part of Hungary in the maelstrom of political chaos and military confrontations. The infamous Siege of Eger in 1552 epitomizes the resilient Hungarian resistance despite being outnumbered against the mighty Turk warriors. Subsequent decades witnessed Hungary's division into three distinct territories: Ottoman Hungary, Habsburg-controlled Royal Hungary, and the Principality of Transylvania. Each segment witnessed varying degrees of autonomy and external control, fundamentally altering Hungary's political and social dynamic. Emerging from the ashes of the Ottoman control was another significant epoch, characterized by fervent uprisings against the Habsburg rulers, transpiring between 1604 and 1711. The anti-Habsburg uprisings, though primarily orchestrated from Transylvania, permeated the territories of Royal Hungary, articulating a palpable dissatisfaction and yearning for independence among the Hungarians. The latter rebellion, steered by Francis II Rákóczi, concluded without accomplishing its intended objective, yet it illuminated the unquenchable desire for autonomy. A tug-of-war ensued between the reformists and the Habsburg monarchs, who sought to preserve agrarian structures and obstruct industrialization, culminating in palpable tensions across the nation. The Hungarian Revolution of 1848 stands as a testament to the culmination of years of simmering discontent and the insurmountable aspiration for self-governance. Spurred by revolutions unfolding across Europe, Hungarian reformists propagated the 12 demands and achieved the implementation of the April Laws, signaling a brief triumph in their relentless quest for reforms and autonomy. Austrian and Russian forces converged on Hungary, extinguishing the flames of the revolution and reinstating Habsburg hegemony. Austro-Hungary, 1867–1918. After the stark realization of military vulnerabilities demonstrated in the major defeat at the Battle of Königgrätz in 1866, Emperor Joseph was impelled to accommodate internal reforms to stabilize and preserve the empire. The Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867, astutely negotiated by Ferenc Deák, materialized as an epitome of diplomatic finesse, forging a dual monarchy and mollifying Hungarian separatists. This compromise birthed a unique political entity, Austria-Hungary, where both realms maintained their respective parliaments and capitals, sharing only a common monarch and consolidated foreign and military policies. It signified a strategic union, both political and economic, with its structure resembling a customs union. Under the pragmatic leadership of the first prime minister, Count Gyula Andrássy, the old Hungarian constitution was reinstated, positioning Franz Joseph as the King of Hungary and paving a path towards relative autonomy and stability. This nuanced approach to governance was further articulated in the Croatian-Hungarian Agreement of 1868, whereby Croatia was acknowledged as an autonomous region, reflecting an intricate melange of semi-independent entities within the empire. Furthermore, Andrássy, the Prime Minister of Hungary, albeit a conservative, was strategic in positioning Austria-Hungary on the global stage, especially in the Balkans, often treading a fine line between expansionary aspirations and maintaining geopolitical equilibriums. His policies often veered towards securing British and German support, while cautiously navigating relationships with Russia and avoiding perturbing Turkey. Amidst these geopolitical and internal intrigues, the late 19th and early 20th centuries witnessed palpable economic shifts. The era was marked by substantial development, particularly in the rural areas and the progressive industrialization of the formerly agrarian Hungarian economy. Budapest, crafted from the unification of Buda, Óbuda, and Pest in 1873, emerged as the nerve center of administrative, economic, political, and cultural activities. World War I. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand on June 28, 1914 in Sarajevo became the cataclysmic spark that plunged Austria-Hungary into a vortex of conflict, signaling its participation in World War I by declaring war on Serbia exactly a month later. This essay seeks to explore the war endeavors of Austria-Hungary, navigating through its military engagements, internal upheavals, and the ultimate disintegration of a once mighty empire. Characterized by allegiance to the Central Powers, alongside Germany, Bulgaria, and the Ottoman Empire, Austro-Hungary mobilized a substantial military force, drafting approximately 9 million soldiers, almost half of whom were from the Kingdom of Hungary. Engaging in several fronts, they asserted dominance by occupying Serbia and repelling attacks from the Russian Empire on the Eastern Front, contributing to the collapse of the Entente powers' eastern endeavors. Despite the military successes in the east and the subsequent occupation of southern Romania and its capital, Bucharest, the Central Powers, particularly Austro-Hungary, encountered a complex web of challenges that would ultimately unravel the dual monarchy. Notably, the Western Front posed a significant impediment, where despite the successes on the Eastern Front, Germany experienced a debilitating stalemate and eventual defeat, which impacted the overall stability of the Central Powers. Despite the initially successful military campaigns, especially against Serbia and on the Eastern Front, the Austro-Hungarian army experienced a stagnation of progress against Italy after January 1918 on the Italian front. Ultimately, succumbing to internal and external pressures, Austria-Hungary signed the Armistice of Villa Giusti on November 3, 1918, signifying a cessation of hostilities and marking the beginning of the end for the empire. The Hungarian People's Republic. In the wake of the war, while Germany tasted defeat on the Western Front in 1918, the Austro-Hungarian monarchy faced its internal chaos, culminating in the political collapse. The murder of former Prime Minister István Tisza during the Astor Revolution in October 1918 symbolized not only the intense domestic strife but also the imminent transformation of Hungarian politics. Subsequently, on October 31, 1918, the revolution's success propelled the leftist liberal Count Mihaly Károlyi to power. In a further shift, Charles I relinquished his powers as King of Hungary on November 13, 1918, although without formally abdicating. Amidst the internal turmoil, international interplay continued to shape Hungary's destiny. French Entente troops advanced to support the rearmament of the defeated Romania and Serbia, and buttressed the nascent Czechoslovakia, navigating the intricacies of redefined alliances and territorial alignments. The Balkan French army, in collaboration with the Czechoslovak, Romanian, and Serbian governments, organized campaigns against Hungary, despite a prevailing general armistice agreement. Proclaiming the First Hungarian Republic on November 16, 1918, with Károlyi as president, Hungary sought to reinvent itself in the post-war European context. In alignment with Woodrow Wilson's pacifist ideals, Károlyi also ordered the complete disarmament of the Hungarian army. This decision, while ethically coherent, left the nascent republic vulnerably exposed to the territorial ambitions of its increasingly militarized neighbors and without a finalized agreement on their borders. Various territories of the Kingdom of Hungary soon found themselves under attack. The state of Slovenes, Croats, and Serbs, alongside French support, targeted the southern regions, and the Czechoslovak Republic assailed the northern areas. Additionally, the Treaty of Bucharest, signed in May 1918, was repudiated by Romania in October of the same year, which, after rejoining the war on the Allied side, extended its military efforts to the Muras River in Transylvania. If you have made this far in this video, thank you. Please press the like button and subscribe and share this video if you are enjoying my content. Now, let's get back to the history of Hungary. The Hungarian Soviet Republic. The gradual shift towards alignment with fascist powers, particularly Nazi Germany during the 1930s, indicates how the national trauma and irredentism linked to the territorial losses from the Treaty of Trianon were exploited and manifested in Hungary's foreign and domestic policies. Miklos Horthy's regime, which initially presented itself as a traditional, conservative, and nationally oriented government, evolved over the 1930s to adopt more radical and racially driven policies, in part as a reaction to both internal and external pressures. Domestic policies became more repressive and exclusionary, with the implementation of anti-Jewish laws, while foreign policy increasingly leaned towards alignment with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. Gyula Gombos and Bela Imredi, both of whom served as prime ministers under Horthy, facilitated Hungary's alignment with the Axis powers due to their pro-German and pro-Italian foreign policies and authoritarian and anti-Semitic domestic policies. The integration of Hungary into the economic sphere of Nazi Germany through trade agreements and political alignments further tethered Hungary to the trajectory of the Axis powers leading up to and during World War II. This engagement with fascist powers provided Hungary with some territorial gains, as they regained parts of the lands lost after WWU through the First and Second Vienna Awards, 1938 and 1940 respectively. However, it also implicated Hungary in the broader aggressive and genocidal policies of the Axis powers, fundamentally shaping the nation's role in World War II and its aftermath. World War II. Hungary, navigating through a complex and tumultuous path during World War II, initially allied with the Axis powers, motivated partly by a shared interest in territorial revision, stemming from the grievances of the Treaty of Trianon and opportunistic territorial gains through the Vienna Awards. However, its involvement, especially in Operation Barbarossa, was characterized by a marked reluctance, as Hungary aimed to maintain a delicate balance of appeasing Nazi Germany and safeguarding its territorial interests against Romania. Although Hungary participated in campaigns like the invasion of Yugoslavia under German pressure, domestically it experienced significant socio-political shifts, with anti-Semitic policies and activities escalating, culminating in the mass persecution and extermination of Hungarian Jews during the Holocaust. Admiral Miklos Horthy's leadership during the latter years of the war exemplified Hungary's precarious position, marked by covert negotiations with the Allied forces and a subsequent German occupation through Operation Margaret. Horthy's efforts to negotiate an armistice with the Soviets ultimately resulted in his deposition through Nazi Germany's Operation Panzerfaust, paving the way for the instatement of Ferenc Szalasi, a fervent fascist. As Soviet forces advanced into Hungary, the nation was subjected to devastating encounters, notably the Siege of Budapest, highlighting Hungary's volatile situation, oscillating between Axis and Allied interactions and conflicts. In the aftermath of the war, Hungary, restrained by the Paris Peace Treaty of 1947 and grappling with substantial reconstruction under the watch of the Soviet Red Army, underwent a profound transformation. The initial semblance of democratic governance, marked by elections and coalition governments, gradually eroded under the increasing influence of the Soviet Union and the Hungarian Communist Party. Through coerced political mergers, the establishment of the People's Republic of Hungary, and the enactment of the 1949 Constitution, Hungary was progressively enveloped within the Eastern Bloc, signifying the advent of a comprehensive socialist and communist era in its governance and global affiliations. This trajectory, while deeply intertwined with Soviet dominance, also interfaced with Hungary's internal political and societal dynamics, offering a multifaceted narrative of a nation navigating through the complexities of global and domestic influences and challenges during the mid-20th century. Post-war communist period. In the shadows of a war-torn Budapest, this collaboration between Hungarian officials, led by Miklos, and exiled communists, stipulated the legalization and incorporation of the Communist Party into the government. By December 22, 1944, a provisional national government was formed in Debrecen, emphasizing a suite of reforms, encompassing land, education, and public sector modifications. The 1947 Peace Treaty of Paris saw Hungary relinquishing territories acquired between 1938 and 1941, reflecting a significant geopolitical reshaping. Communist maneuverings, epitomized by the shrewd political activities of Mátyás Rákosi and his cohort, resulted in gradual domination of political, economic, and social spheres in Hungary. The periods following the initially nuanced communist tactics saw the unfolding of systematic suppressions of civil liberties and strategic election manipulations. When democratic facades failed to bolster the communist power sufficiently, a shift toward a more overt and aggressive communist subsumption took place. The Stalinist era under Rákosi's leadership was unmistakably defined by an entrenchment of totalitarian practices. Rákosi, a staunch Stalinist, orchestrated a regime characterized by oppressive dictatorial rule, significant political purges, and the violent suppression of dissent. Rákosi's overarching dominance, however, became unhinged after Stalin's death in 1953, revealing fractures within the Hungarian Working People's Party, and sparking a power struggle between him and his political adversary, Imre Nagy. Nagy's comparatively liberal stance and reformist policies found traction among Hungarians, albeit temporarily, as internal and external political machinations eventually undermined his initiatives. The brief ascendancy of Nagy introduced a milder political climate where moderate reforms were implemented to alleviate the hardships experienced by the populace and curb the autocratic excesses of the previous regime. Accused of fostering economic issues via his rightist deviation, Nagy found himself dismissed from his post in April 1955, marking the reinstatement of Rákóczi's staunch rule. Rákóczi's subsequent leadership did not endure extensively as burgeoning reformist pressures and the de-Stalinization policy under Khrushchev's Soviet Union loosened his iron grip. Rákóczi was deposed in 1956 but was replaced by Ernő Géry, a decision that was met with widespread dissatisfaction due to his equivalent unpopularity and complicity in Rákóczi's oppressive regime. This misstep by the Soviets and persistent political tensions provided fertile ground for the seeds of rebellion, dissent, and the iconic uprising that was to materialize in the form of the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. The 1956 Revolution. The roots of the 1956 upheaval can be traced back to a series of structural failures and oppressive policies under Mátyás Rákóczi's Stalinist regime, leading to widespread public discontent. On 23 October 1956, what began as a peaceful student demonstration in Budapest, articulating demands for reform and greater political freedom, devolved into an unexpected national uprising after the State Protection Authority responded with arrests and violence. The eruption of chaos attracted a multitude of Hungarians to the cause, including commissioned officers and soldiers, and thus commenced the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. Imre Nagy, a moderate with a previous history in the government, emerged as a pivotal figure during this period of rebellion. Upon the demolition of Stalin's statue and amidst the echoes of revolution, Nagy assumed leadership, promising democratization and national socialism compatible with Hungary's characteristics. Nagy's government, as it was shaped, announced bold steps like the release of political prisoners and the abolition of the one-party state, fostering a political environment that shifted significantly from the stringent Stalinist policies of the past. However, the aspiration for reformation confronted a significant obstacle: the hegemonic vigilance of the Soviet Union. Nagy's announcement on 1st November, declaring Hungary's intent to withdraw from the Warsaw Pact and seek neutrality, was a defining moment that clashed vehemently with the geopolitical interests of the Soviet Union. The subsequent Soviet military intervention in Hungary on 4 November 1956 marked a brutal suppression of the national uprising, resulting in numerous casualties and extinguishing the flame of revolution. The aftermath of the revolution was both tragic and transformative. Figures central to the uprising, like Nagy and Paul Malater, were executed, symbolizing the ruthlessness of the suppression. Hungary was plunged back into a totalitarian sphere, but under a new leader, János Kadar, who adopted an initially repressive approach toward counter-revolutionaries and reformists. Yet Kadar's subsequent reign witnessed an evolution towards what was colloquially termed goulash communism, which implemented economic reforms and granted relative cultural and social liberties in stark contrast to the previous oppressive regime. Despite a brutal suppression of the 1956 uprising, the seeds of rebellion, demand for autonomy, and democratic governance endured, subtly fostering an undercurrent of change. Various activists, reform socialists, and political movements slowly but persistently pressured for alterations to the existing political structure. Kadar's fall in 1988 and subsequent political, social, and constitutional reforms paved the way for Hungary to metamorphose into a democratic nation, witnessed through the rebirth of multiple political parties and the advocacy for civil liberties. By the time the Hungarian Republic was officially declared in 1989, the echoes of 1956 reverberated through the corridors of its transformative journey, embodying a potent reminder of the enduring spirit of rebellion and the unquenchable desire for freedom and self-determination. Third Republic since 1989. In May 1990, Hungary witnessed a pivotal moment in its history with the conduct of its first free parliamentary election. This election symbolized the nation's transition from a communist regime, which had been vigorously rejected through the electoral voice of the populace. The Hungarian Democratic Forum, MDF, secured a pivotal victory, accumulating 43% of the vote and subsequently formed a center-right coalition government headed by Prime Minister József Antall. The trajectory of Viktor Orban's Fidesz party starkly defined subsequent political periods. Following a reorientation from liberal to national conservative ideologies after the 1994 election, Fidesz triumphed in the 1998 election. Orban's first term in office emphasized facilitating economic growth, curtailing inflation, and alleviating tax burdens on citizens. While the government sustained its commitment to Euro-Atlantic integrations and vocally supported minority rights for ethnic Hungarians in foreign territories, its somewhat revisionist approach to narrating the history of the fall of communism generated notable political strife, particularly with the Socialist Party. In 2002, Hungary witnessed the return of the MSZP-SZDSZ coalition to power, characterized by their navigation through intricate economic and social challenges, amplified exponentially by the 2008 global financial crisis. From 2010 onward, the dominance of Fidesz and Viktor Orban redefined Hungary's political and democratic landscape. Whilst managing to achieve certain socio-economic objectives like reducing unemployment, Orban's approach towards the migration crisis, relations with the European Union, and an apparent predilection for maintaining relations with Russia has attracted significant critique. Orban's resiliency was underscored by his electoral victory in 2022, reinforcing his established political position despite myriad criticisms. As we near the end of this video, we thank you for exploring Hungary's intricate political history with us. Your engagement is invaluable and fuels our content creation. Please consider supporting us by subscribing, liking, and sharing our videos with your network. Your interactions truly make a difference in our community. Don't forget to leave a comment below, and we look forward to bringing you more insightful content soon. Thank you for watching. Until next time.